So what are we going to do now?
We were going to call somebody. You were paging through your numbers.
Oh, yeah. Richard Tyrone Jones.
I guess I should talk to you more than the camera. I keep talking to the camera. I don't know how these things work. I mean, movies.
Right.
Oh, you were calling Richard Tyrone Jones?
Well, I guess so.
I kind of went...
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you want to do all the main bit of first talking?
Sure.
Sort of, I really know what to say.
Once again, this is Parlour Games, the movie. The interview segment. I bet Richard is doing a show and doesn't answer. Sounds like the ringing is in a car.
Welcome to the O2 messaging service. The person you are calling is unable to take your call. Please leave your message after the tone. To re-record your message, key hash at any time.
Hi Richard, this is Guy J. Jackson. I am calling you from the set of Parlour Games, the movie. I'm here with Nathan Penlington.
Hello.
And we were going to ask you some questions and interview you for Parlour Games, the movie. You may call us back right away and maybe get in the movie, but we're going to be wrapping up in a few minutes, so you may have to be satisfied with being in the other movie, 77 Replies to 77 Questions on youtube.com/Guy J. Jackson. And then, and just, let this one go. So thank you for your time, Richard. Nice to talk to you, even if it's only a one-sided conversation. Maybe or maybe not you will listen to this message, which is something we were just discussing.
Yeah, we think some people might not listen to the messages that we've left them.
They might just call back right away.
Which would be confusing, because you won't know what we were talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Richard, I'll speak to you soon, and let's hopefully hook up for a cup of tea.
Take care.
Alright, bye-bye.
Okay, welcome back to Parlour Games, the movie. Now it is time for 3D poetry in the Poetry Hall.
Upwards, not northwards. I remember telling her about the first 3D film shown on TV and how I prepared by colouring in the lenses of my glasses with red and blue felt tip pens. I don't remember why I would tell her or why she would care, but I almost see her smile as my thoughts slip a dimension, reach out, touch air.
Okay.
Welcome back to Parlour Games, the movie, and now it is time for 3D story in the story hall.
The dog needed to save his master each and every day. One day from a ditch, one day from a terrible wind, one day from a fast-moving truck. But then, of course, like all dogs, the dog began to overachieve and was suddenly rescuing toddlers that didn't need rescuing, always picking them up by their scruffs and dumping them at the entrance to the fire station. Hey, you notice how children are being born old nowadays, like the whole world knows too much about itself? Man, there's no fire station to rescue that sadness. Anyway, they couldn't figure out about the dog doing that with the toddlers because the dog had never been a fire dog, a Dalmatian. He'd always been a snowbound St. Bernard. But at least they knew where they could always find the missing toddlers.
Yes.
Like
No.
all the thoughts in the story condensed into one word.
Yeah, that's going to be the that's going to be the hard bit, and that's why really poets and writers will still need to be paid, because their time will be spent thinking of that one word.
That one struggle. That's amazing. That blows my mind.
So you could be, I mean, you could be lying down on a couch for days, you know, just not doing anything, just thinking of that one word. When you get that word, though, you could have a bestseller. You know.
So would you think of the whole? You would think of it. You would be like, okay, you think of a story of a person that's walking through the woods and meets a gnome and gets 3 wishes, and then the 3 wishes, one of the wishes turns out to be pretty good, and then the next 2 wishes are sort of comeuppances for whatever sort of karmic thing he needs, some karmic comeuppance that the dude needs, and then and he learns a moral lesson, and then there's a moral, and that's the end of the story. So you would think of that story, and then you would be lying on your couch, and you would you first think of the story, because then you still are doing all the work. This is what I'm saying. You're still doing all the work of thinking of the story, and then you're doing an extra step of work of condensing that whole everything in that story, all the themes, thoughts, feelings, dialogue, meta themes into one word.
I mean, yeah, you're doing the same amount of work, but you don't actually have to sit there and type them out, those words that you just thought about. So that's sort of taking an element of word away, and you've only got to get that one word. That's the key. But also, if you think about it in the future, if this technology catches on, more and more writers use it, it may be that more and more readers will only need that one word. So instead of producing a book of 80,000 words, if the readers catch up and use the technology, they could just think about that one word and they would get the whole story. I mean, I think that's the way technology has taken us, really, as writers. It's a great. I mean, it's
amazing.
It is.
That's just really beautiful in a way. And so basically, you would think of a story, condense it into a word. You type the word into your computer, along with your name. The computer decides what type of story that is. It makes a story in its computer head, then again condenses that story into one word. The reader, on the other end...
Yeah, or the reader could just take that one word that you thought of.
Oh, right, okay.
But you need the computer in the middle to sort of elaborate the story,
Yeah.
And to give that word meaning, and then at the other end, that one word would still be the same word that you had, but now it would actually have more meaning.
Wow. Or you could just meet somebody at a party and just
Give them a word. You could, and it would be incredible. Imagine what you would do. That would blow them away. It's going to be it's an exciting, exciting future ahead of us. 21st century literature.
Wow. So, well, okay. So our show, or our movie, this is, has stories and poems. But we're still, we should say, even though we've been talking about this sort of wonderful breakthrough, this kind of bright utopian future that lays ahead of us as artists, and all artists really, though that's still in the future, right?
That's really still in the future. It's looking far ahead.
In our movie, you see, won't have that.
We don't have that now. We've written all these words with our minds and our mouths.
Yeah, we gotta apologize.
Yeah, and we wouldn't.
Because
if we had that technology, we would just give you the one word and.
Yeah, we'd be done with the whole movie.